There are plenty of reasons that buildings under construction present challenges that firefighters don't see in regular bread and butter type fires, or even during a normal high-rise operation. First of all, many buildings under construction will lack any firewalls until the later stages, meaning that the entire volume of the structure is exposed to any fire that begins. The floors often have large penetrations that permit worker access and passage of construction materials. Due to these holes, extremely rapid vertical fire spread is not just possible, but likely. Firefighters need to be especially careful around these holes, as they're often not visible under fire conditions, and any type of guard around them could have been destroyed by the fire. Often these holes will be vertically aligned, allowing burning debris from the fire floor to rain down on any firefighters climbing up through them to reach the upper floors. Even though these openings permit rapid fire spread, they can also aid firefighter operations. The holes in the floor will allow for effortless ventilation, and the lack of partitions allows a hose stream to sweep an entire area for its full range. Probably the most serious collapse threat in buildings under construction comes from structures that, when finished, would provide the greatest resistance to collapse: poured-in-place, reinforced concrete structures. Concrete takes about 48 hours to dry and cure, during which time it has almost no strength and it is held in place by a wooden or fiberglass mold. The floor below the most recently poured concrete can be a veritable lumberyard of plywood and 4x4 posts. There is also usually a lot of scrap wood and sawdust lying around from the cutting and fitting of the framework. On top of all that, the ceiling is made of plywood that has often been treated with a combustible coating to keep it from sticking to the concrete. Because of all this, any fire originating in or extending into this area will spread very rapidly. A failure of the 4x4 support post would likely lead to a collapse of the entire mass of concrete they were supporting. If this collapse begins, you have to worry about the weight of that mass of concrete and the formwork crashing down onto the floor below and overloading it. Most of the responses to CO detectors will be minor, non-life-threatening incidents, but I have carried out several victims that have been overcome and even more bodies. All these incidents must be treated as potentially lethal, even if the vast majority are due to faulty detectors. If you respond to a call and find an activated CO detector, your first step should be to ask the occupants if they feel ill. CO exposure often produces flu-like symptoms, including fatigue, headache, nausea, dizziness, and confusion. If anyone reports these symptoms, evacuate the building immediately. Once you have removed the potential life hazard, it's time to locate the source of the carbon monoxide. First, ask the occupants what fuel-burning appliances were in use before and during the time the detector was activated. Then, start your meter readings at the front door, working your way to the location of the CO detector. These tests should always require at least 2 mask-equipped members with 2 CO meters and at least 1 portable radio. Record all readings by parts per million, location, and time. Check around every fuel-burning appliance as well as any chimneys. If you encounter a leaking appliance or flue, shut it down, but continue taking meter readings. There could easily be other sources of carbon monoxide. After you've completed your readings, begin ventilating the area. Inform the owner of any sources of CO found and the need to keep it shut down until it has been repaired. Once the CO readings have dropped to an acceptable level, usually under 9 parts per million, the building may be turned back over to its occupants.